ladies and gents out there that might be watching the show. Welcome to another Sunday with us at the DKW studio. We've got a fab show for you today. We're talking news. Now, there's been a lot that's been circulating over the last month, so we're going to be here giving our own lowdown on what we think has been happening. But I'm not alone in the studio. I've got the lovely Claire and Sandra here with me.
Hello.
Hi. Hi. I caught you guys off guard. Like, hi. Ladies, news. Are you hot news followers, or do you just go by what you hear and then give your opinion as you go along?
I go by what I hear and then I just pop in my opinion, isn't it?
News is always full of miserable stuff, isn't it?
Yeah.
I like to live in my own little bubble.
Really?
Yeah. It's full of glitter in my bubble. It's much more fun.
Well, do you know what? Well, then we're going to have a fab time on the show today, because you're going to talk about what your dibs are with your glitter and so on.
Exactly.
Well, hopefully, I hope you're not going to just follow the crowd today and just go by what everyone says. But you're going to give your opinion.
No, I'm definitely going to give my opinion.
Well, seeing as you're the lovely news reader, fire away. Let us know, Sandra, what's been happening out there?
Well, the first news I have for you ladies are the rising interest rates.
Yes.
Basically, 5 years ago, the Bank of England, 5 years ago today, the Bank of England cut interest rates to 0.5%, which won't last much longer. An interest rate hike is coming probably just after the election. So savers who have lost out on an estimated 65 billion because of low interest rates will rejoice. And so will Wonga. I don't know if you know that.
Yeah, Wonga. Yes. The dreaded Wonga.
Yes. So a rise in interest rates will make repaying debts harder, and many more will turn to short-term loan providers.
Ouch.
What's your say on that, ladies?
Gosh, do you want to go first, Claire?
Well, I just think I don't get me wrong, I don't follow too much about interest rates, all that stuff. It's just a bit boring. But if you can't afford to have something, you shouldn't be buying it.
Yeah.
We live in a society that's telling us that we can have it now and pay later. And so we're buying all these things out of fear because we want to kind of feel like everyone else.
Yeah, but I think it's rather hard to say that at the same time, because, so much stuff is thrown into your face and we're kind of brought up in this whole commercialism. So it's like, everyone has to have that latest bag, us ladies, those latest shoes. There's always something in the house that needs repairing, or, well, it doesn't actually need to be repaired. You just want to keep up with the Jones and get something even better. But do you get me? We're always trying to improve on ourselves, and that costs money. I think the sad part for me, because I do like to keep up with financial stuff and so on, is the savers. I mean, you think about people from my father and my grandfather's generation who would like to live on a pension, but unfortunately that's coming to absolute naught. Did I say that out too loud? Yes, I did. But I mean, so then, your backup plan is your savings. And what happens if your savings ain't really accumulating any interest? So what is the point in saving? I mean, what do you think, ladies? Because then for people from our generation, we're thinking, well, if they're going to do that with the interest rates, I might as well just spend all my cash now and just live life to the fullest, really.
I'm telling you, it's true, because, for example, there's so many of us ladies, when you open a magazine, you see, oh my gosh, she's got that shoes, it's so nice, I did see it, and then you just go on impulse, you want to get it, oh, I don't have any money, and then you get a loan. Everything's out there, and you just can't resist. And if with the interest rates, with the savings that way, I mean, everyone's going to think, well, why bother? Yeah. I'm just going to, live life as it goes. YOLO, as they say.
You know what I learned a long time ago, and it's enabled me to have a great life. It's enabled me to save and also not kind of buy out of panic or get my head out of keeping up with the Joneses, because who wants to be the same as someone else? I think people should try and be different and be who they really are. You pay off your expenses, you save a third, so you save a third, and then you treat yourself with the third. Okay,
nice.
So you're saving, you're treating, and you're keeping. So it's only the third that you're treating. So rather than blowing all your wages on something, you split it into three. And I've lived by that for about 4 or 5 years now. And bizarrely, my life's changed because I can go on holidays when I want to. I'm not buying from fear, and I'm not getting caught out by all of these things.
Yeah,
But so
I
many-
completely
not many-
agree.
I agree with you, but it's not the reality for many people.
Well, do you know,
Yeah.
let's talk about our dreaded Wonga. I mean, for those of you who don't know, and not just Wonga in particular, but you know, these short-term payday loans and so on. First off, would you ever get one?
No.
I did get one in the past.
Did you?
Did
Was it to
you?
go
Oh my
out?
gosh.
Was it to go out and party or buy shoes or something?
It was to buy something.
I can't
See?
believe it.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, what was it like getting it, and was it a nightmare paying it back?
Oh no, getting it was lovely because when you see all those digits in your account, you think, oh, lovely. It's the paying back that's the pain. You're thinking, oh no, my salary. And the thing is, the way it's set up now is you don't pay it when you want. It's set day. They've got all your details. So as soon as it's payday, shoop, the money disappears. So it's really, really painful. And you don't pay back exactly what you get. You pay back more. So it's even painful. I wouldn't advise anyone to get it. And I've had it quite a few times, like 3-4 times.
What?
I know, because the first time...
Oh my gosh, yes, naughty.
I know, because the
Very
first time
naughty.
you get it, and when you have to pay back, you think, oh, you know, I'm like, I'm not getting it again. No way, I'm not getting it again. And then the next time comes, oh, I really need this. And then I got it again.
But do you really need it? What makes you so scared of actually owning up and saying, I can't afford it? Why are you so scared of that?
It was that impulse, love. It was that impulse. I just
But it's not an impulse. It wasn't an impulse. You've done it 4 times.
I know.
See, that you're making excuses. Why can't we say, you know what, I can't do it?
Yeah.
Why are we so scared of saying, I can't do it this month? Why are we so frightened of that?
Yeah.
That's the thing.
I mean, well, another thing is the interest rates on paying it back. I think it's so sad that things have been set up in a way whereby, you know, people are not encouraged to save, but they are encouraged to spend, but then they've got so much debt accumulated. So, I mean, your debt versus the amount of money that you've actually got in your bank account is really unbalanced, and it's very, very scary. I mean, there was another thing that I had heard even with Wonga, that pretty much now anybody could get a loan. There was a thing about a 13-year-old boy or something along the lines of that, even getting a Wonga loan. I mean, who's going to pay that now?
But why, like, when I was growing up, I wanted all the flash trainers and I wanted this, and my mum would be like, you got £30, you can spend what you want on your trainers, but you wash the car, you use your birthday money. And when I got them trainers, I earned them. They were shiny and didn't go in puddles, and I love them. And I bet you $1 million, and there's no Wonga in that feeling was 1,000,000 times better than that feeling you got when you did your quick payday cash.
I tell you.
You know, so why can't we go back to that?
Indeed.
Why can't we go back to earning it and feeling good about it? This fast cash is as bad as chocolate.
It is really dangerous. I think
so
you
bad.
highlighted something about fast cash. I think it's making people get used to that culture whereby they don't really need to work for anything because you can get it anyway. And who cares about what's going to happen tomorrow, because you're only just going to pay it off as and when you can. But then that's where it becomes dangerous, because when do you actually pay it off? And then I think with some of these loans, it's like 300% APR on some of them. So it's like you borrow, let's say, £100, but you end up paying what, £500 over like 2 or 3 years. It's really, really crazy.
It's easy life is the pain. It's more painful than the hard way actually in the end. So.
Yeah. I mean, what's the next news piece? That was really, really horrible, but it's not nice to know that I'm not going to have much on my savings after this.
Let's get to a light-hearted one called the no makeup selfie craze.
Okay.
Right, so it's by the independent journalist Omi Adegoke, if I pronounced it right. The reason the no makeup selfie trend consistently gets under Dream Matte Mousse soaked skin isn't because it doesn't mean well. We're sure many participants genuinely believe a warts and all Instagram accompanied with a feeble my no makeup selfie for cancer awareness caption has somehow aroused a cousin twice removed to the cancer research site and donate their savings in the entity. But thinly veiling, it's a bit trying to take all this in, veiling vanity has, these are really big words for me, philanthropy more than irks. The entire thing smacks of the Beyonce, I woke up like this, you know. Arrogance social media has seen us become so accustomed to, from super flawless to no filter reminders to boasts of being barefaced in a profile pic. The pretense these images are for anything other than an onslaught of natural beauty acclamations, coupled with pats on the back for fighting the cause, makes the no makeup selfie mania even harder to stomach.
Wow, that's really. I mean, what's her name? Omi. Do you think Omi is being OTT when it's coming to the no makeup selfie? Because many people would say it's just a laugh and it's for a good cause, and you know, it's just a bit of a giggle, really. So what's the big deal?
I don't think women can win. We get told we wear too much makeup, that we try too hard, then we do something that raises money for charity, but also encourages us to go barefoot, and then we get slammed down. Like, just chill out. Like, just chill out. Like, is it really that much of a bigger deal? I mean, I thought it was great. It raised loads of money.
Yeah,
it got people kind of connecting with friends and family. It got them kind of being brave and showing their true self. And if they did kind of take the picture 20 times, my picture was from an angle, my bedside. But, you know, one of my friends says, Claire, I've got loads. I've known you for 15 years and I've got hundreds of pictures of you with the same side of your face and the same thing. You know, we're not all going to be, you know, perfect at revealing ourselves, but it's a good start, isn't it?
I mean, one thing I wanted to say on that though, with the whole bare-faced thing, do you think that it was more about vanity than it was more about the actual charity? I mean, I can see someone just like, yes.
Yeah, no, I think a little bit. For some, not for everyone. It's not always for everyone that is that. There's some people that it's genuinely for the cause, but for others it's just a little bit of vanity to say, yes, I look good without makeup. I know you've seen me put all these filters and so, but look at me without makeup. I know for some it is that case.
I think, you know, it was blown a little bit out of proportion. At the end of the day, it's just a selfie. If you wear makeup, like Claire was saying, or if you don't wear makeup, you're going to get slammed either way. My thing, though, I get what she was trying to say about the whole narcissism, it all being about us or you know, here's myself. Do you think, actually, moving slightly away from the topic but going on to selfies, do you think it's very narcissistic and vain to be constantly taking selfies of yourself? Because some people might say it's encouraging a culture where people become overly obsessed with the way that they look and the way they present themselves on social media. And many times it might not necessarily be real. That's not how they look like. Because if you've got, for example, we've got fantastic lighting in the studio. So if I have no makeup on and I stand at the right angle in the right light, I can look like if I've been completely photoshopped. So do you think that it's making things rather fake now, very vain and narcissistic?
I don't think so. I think it's a little bit good for those, you know, women that they don't really, they probably were the type of women, they didn't really value themselves or they didn't think they were beautiful. I think it's a good way for them to come out and be happy. It gives them that self-satisfaction. So I think it's a 50-50. For some it could be, but I think it's in some ways quite good for women to be happy with who they are and love themselves. If you're going to post 400 pictures of selfies of yourself on your Instagram, then you've gone too far. But 1 or 2, 3 or 4, I think it's quite healthy. You have to love yourself at the end of the day, really, isn't it?
Totally. I think some of the like the Instagram accounts and things like that, you know, in certain industry, in business, everyone's getting told to, you know, promote and do it on a personal level. And I think it is nice that you are kind of seeing the regular side of a lot of celebrities. So you're seeing them in their kitchens, in their homes, you're seeing them with their families. You know, I forget that Oprah's not my friend on Facebook because the way she does some of her actual selfies or pictures, I kind of go, oh, that's lovely. Oprah's done her gardening. Oh, she's not actually my friend. But you're seeing into people's lives. So it's kind of the separation of between us and celebrities seems to be getting less. But again, just like you said, is that because we're all thinking that we are all celebrities now?
Yeah,
because we're all
this is the
doing
thing.
this and I've got
Promoting
10,000
that
followers.
culture. Well, you know, it's a very interesting one, and that's one that we're going to take also afterwards into our next break. So stay tuned, you don't want to miss this one, our news show. Hi, on today's DKW show, we're talking news. And just before we went to the break, we were talking about the no makeup selfie and the whole craze. Was it narcissistic? Was it a bit vain? What was it all about? But one thing I did want to mention to you ladies, you know, it's all very good and well loving yourself and taking loads of pictures, but when does it get a little bit too much? Because there was the case of the young man who took several selfies of himself, I believe it was over 100, and none of them he was happy with, and as a result he tried to commit suicide. So do you think it's been blown out of proportion, this whole I need to look good on my Instagram account, I got to look good on my Facebook, because if I don't look good then my life's not really worth it?
I don't think that anything else can be blamed for someone's state of mind. You know, something would have took that person over the edge. It could have been anything. It's that whole argument of even having a compliment, saying you look lovely today, and you've got the opportunity to say thank you, or what do you mean? I normally look rubbish.
Yeah.
Like it's the individual. So I think we can't. I think there is a lot of pressure. But it's that thing, isn't it? There is a lot of pressure, but it's there because we're now seeing people in their normal life. So we had the argument before that celebrities and people were way above us and unreachable, and now they're reachable and we're still complaining. So I just think it's always going to be an ongoing saga.
I really do. I really think that there was deeper issues with him, because many of us, I don't know about you guys, I've taken quite a few selfies that I wasn't happy with, but that didn't push me to the extent to take my life.
Yeah.
You see what I mean? So with him, it was deeper. He had deeper issues, other issues, and that was just another way of saying, you know what, that's it. I'm just going to finish it off. So it's just how everyone sees it, really.
Yeah.
So,
well, so then on to a more lighter note. I mean, it's been heavy. It's a bit of a heavy one. What's the next news, please?
So, what does your postcode say about you?
Ooh.
Your age, marital status, and even how many cars you own, according to new research.
Really? Okay.
How long can you expect to live? What are your marriage prospects, and how healthy are you? The answers to these questions lie hidden behind the 6 or 7 digit code at the end of your address. 40 years after every town and city in the UK was allocated its own postcode, a new study commissioned by the Royal Mail today gives a detailed insight into everyday life in communities across the country. The research examined 5 key areas: health and well-being, work, the cost of living, safety, and home life. Study commissioned by the Royal Mail to mark 40th anniversary of the postcode. Data reveals everything from birth rate to mortgage, debts, and car ownerships. Has the highest average age, so while parts of the university, sorry, I missed out something, sorry. Aldeburgh in Suffolk has the highest average age, whilst parts of the university city of Birmingham has the youngest population. West London and the city area home to the healthiest people in the UK.
Really?
2/3 of those living in Dorset town of Poole are married. Canterbury is in the town with the lowest birth rate, and postcodes were first tested in Norwich in 1959 and allocated to towns and cities across the country in 1974.
Oh, I didn't realise 1974.
Wow.
It's amazing, isn't it? I found that out.
1974.
I mean, but come on, ladies, does your postcode really determine how you're going to live in your day-to-day life? Do you really think it's that serious?
I think, right, I'll tell you a fact. I live in a postcode that apparently earns the most money and creates and generates the most money in the UK.
Wow,
I live
okay.
just across from Canary Wharf, I live in a block of flats and it looks like Harlem. It looks like Harlem, honestly. It makes no sense. Yeah. I mean, I've got a beautiful view. The people looking at me have got a horrific view because the building's not very nice. But, you know, it's in an area where it's a mishmash of, you know, old buildings and brand new penthouses.
Right.
And that's what the postcode, when I moved, and I found out it earns the most amount of money and generates the most amount of money.
It would do, yeah.
But it doesn't look like that. So really, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, it's a load of rubbish.
Do you think so? Because do you know why I'm saying that? Because many people would say that a certain area gives you more opportunities to live a certain lifestyle. But I'm really surprised because I would have thought like Chelsea and was it Chelsea and Kensington?
Yeah, Chelsea and Kensington.
I would have thought they would have had a higher turnover than Canary Wharf.
But I would say that that's more family money, whereas where I live, Canary Wharf, that's more businesses and it's generating new money.
Right, it's true.
So,
it's true.
I mean, I've not got children, but whenever I think of the postcodes, it's always my friends and schools, and postcodes come down to where your house is and where the schools are.
That's it, yeah. So, I mean, would you said the kids and stuff, would you in the future consider changing postcodes for the sake of your children then? After hearing everything that you've heard today and growing up how you've grown up and seeing the things that you're seeing now, would you say it's worth changing postcodes then for the sake of your kids, or it doesn't really matter?
Well, now I'd say it doesn't matter, but I've just become an auntie and I've got a niece, so I'm now understanding that sense of you do anything for your kids, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
You know what? If my brother had to move house for his daughter to go to a good school, I'd probably try and buy him the house because I understand that feeling now, whereas I didn't before. So, in theory, I probably would,
It does. It really does. Postcode, even though we say, oh no, it doesn't, it does.
It does.
It does. It really does.
So then, what's our next news piece? I'm thinking about my postcode now without being tempted to move
gosh,
home.
don't, no, not my postcode. I need to move postcode. Have to.
See, my postcode's okay. It's just my outside of my flat looks a bit scary.
Okay, so Phil Hodson from The Independent, this is relating to the NHS today, will tell you roughly 3 to 4% of men have depression, as against to 7 to 8% of women.
Wow.
But it's acknowledged that men are far less likely to seek medical help for their condition.
Right.
I don't think I'm quite surprised.
Yeah, I was just about to say that.
In all cases, women outuse the health service compared to men, from puberty to age 75. Doctors are less likely to diagnose men with depression, and because of male bravado under the QALY system, those who play down the existence of the problem and the severity of symptoms will automatically get a cleaner bill of health in their statistic results. Does it matter? The UCKP report indicates that depression is not only the worst illness in the world because it traps you in a prison without a door. To borrow from the psychologist Dorothy Rowe, it also costs you 6 times as much as the next most serious illness in terms of the lost well-being. For precise value, a serious case of clinical depression will reduce quality of life by the equivalent of £44,237 each year, as opposed to £5,556 each year for kidney trouble.
No way.
Yes, way.
Wow, that is absolutely amazing. I'm thinking depression. I mean, depression is something that's really obviously miserable. Nobody ever wants to fall into depression. Nobody ever wants to have someone close to them fall into depression. But to find out so many men are suffering from depression, because usually they say that women are more emotional, so we tend to feel more.
But the thing is, I think women are more emotional. They feel more, but yet they speak more.
This is.
But men keep it all inside because of their ego. I'm a man, etc. So everything they bottle everything in, and that's why I'm not really surprised that they have the highest rate, because they keep everything inside.
They have the highest rate, and in the UK, suicide's the biggest killer of men.
Yeah.
So
Really?
it's above gun crime.
Suicide is the biggest killer of men.
I'm an ambassador for a men's suicide charity.
Wow.
And it is 5 men a day kill themselves in the UK against, I think it's 1 women. I'd probably have to check the facts again, but that was what the ratio was. It's a huge set, and it's exactly what you said. Men don't talk, so it's the whole idea of men not talking. But women have changed, we've changed, but we want our men to still be men, and it's a hard one. So men don't, they don't know what to do, they don't know how to express themselves. We're telling them to express themselves, but then we want them to open doors for us still and pay for dates. And they're like, what do you want from me? So it's a confusing time for guys, and the figures are really proving that.
Because even if they're not going to, because they have to be men, for example, a married man would think, oh no, I've got to be the man, I can't say this to my wife, whatever, because I want to keep that bravado, as they say, but they can speak to someone else, go and speak to, because they don't. If I believe when it's time for counselling, the woman goes, when they go and sit down, so who's going to talk first? Well, you go ahead, because you're the one that, they don't want to talk. The women has to do all the talking, and everything just bottles and bottles, and I think from depression leads to, I'm just going to end it all. Suicide.
It's really sad. I mean, thinking about it now, do you... How can I put this? Do you think that there's enough support out there for men to offload off of their chest and to get things out? Because, most men, I'm thinking of like some of the men in my family, when they have, a toothache or they're absolutely miserable and they're keeling over in pain, you tell them, go to the GP, go seek medical help, and they'll be like, no, I'll be all right, coughing. Do you understand? Do you think there's enough support to kind of prompt them in that direction? Like, look, if you're not feeling, well, not just even the depression, but you're not feeling well in general, you need to let go of the ego, the bravado, and speak to someone.
But have you ever... I think what needs to be looked at is how to approach these things with men and how to almost entice and draw men in, because, you've seen it with family. It just took my auntie a month to get my uncle to the doctors, and he's got something wrong with his eye. His eye! Like, this, you can't be messing around with your eye! It's like, this is insane. But it's as typical as you say. Like, how do you get them to do stuff? Because as soon as you say, call the doctor, they go, ugh. And that's it. They're stubborn, and you can't bring it up again.
Yeah.
So how do you get past that? That's I think, yes, we know they need to talk. We know they need to do X, Y, and Z. But how do you reach out? I think that's the problem at the moment. Because
I think there is enough help available, but it's just how it's done. As you said, we have to. The help that is available has to be done in a way that's going to reach out to these men and appeal to them. Because if not, then it's unfortunately
the statistics are going to keep rising.
Keep rising the same. That man is still going to hold on even though his tooth is falling out.
It's funny, why do they do that? Tooth, your eye!
Well, I guess it's unfortunate. We just hope in this delicate situation that men won't be men and they will seek the help that they need so that they don't fall into that statistic and into that trap. Well, we're going to be going to a quick break, but we'll be back with some more interesting news. Stay tuned. Hi there, ladies and gents who may be watching the show. We're talking news on today's DKW show. We've had a lot of interesting and heavy topics as well. But on to some more light news.
Okay, so this is from the Bollywood News website.
Okay.
Gwyneth Paltrow and Chris Martin to stay together post-split. So actor Gwyneth Paltrow and singer Chris Martin, who recently announced their split, are reportedly planning to live together in their Malibu property here. The couple, who were married for 11 years, splashed out on a $14 million beach house shortly after confirming their split. And sources say they will share the property, reported a popular website. And according to the New York Post newspaper, the house includes 2 totally separated bedrooms, living spaces, so they are both able to stay close to their children, Apple 9 and Moses 7.
Right. So, ladies, I'm going to throw this straight at you because I have my own opinions on this. What do you think about the two? First of all, what do you think about their breakup? Because they were like the Hollywood, like go together. They were ab fab. She's American, he's English. It was all kind of romantic, and you know they were high profile, and everybody was rooting for them. And then they announced a split, and it was actually quite a surprise because she did a big magazine spread with a big magazine saying that how she loved her marriage. She loved was it Chris? I always get his first name and his second name. Chris Martin. Yeah, she's saying how much she loved them, the kids, and they were just enjoying their life. So it's a bit, for me, I find it a bit bizarre that they.
Well, she can still love him and not be in love with him. Maybe she was just a bit cute with the truth. But she did a magazine spread. He's launched an album.
Yeah.
Great timing. Yeah. And so it's a bit. I'm like.
I mean, but the two of them living together. What do you think about that? Well, she said it's for the sake of the kids.
Oh, I mean, I'm very old-fashioned. I think that they just need to sit down and sort it out. But what's the point of living together? I mean, for the sake of the kids, fine, if that's the excuse you want to use. I really think that they need to really sort it out and get back together. She can still be in love with him. She can fall back in love as she did the very first day she met him. That's my opinion.
I don't know what to say. You know what? My mum and dad are together. They're still together to celebrate their 40 years. I totally believe weddings, marriage is marriage. I do believe that.
I don't know if you've seen it. They said in our days when something is broken, we fix it.
Yeah.
We don't throw it in the bin at first time. We fix it. Fix it, guys.
But would you argue that, you know, celebrities don't lead a normal relationship or marriage? And there were some reports going around that she was always in America filming, he was always over here, you know, doing his album and so on. So it was a bit funny and awkward, and that there was that awkward point where they were living in the UK and then she's an American girl, so she missed home. Do you think that could have had some sort of negative impact on the marriage?
11 years down the line, they kind of knew what they were getting into. They made it work for so long. If it was a few years down the line, then maybe you think, okay, it didn't work, they didn't really think it through, but it is a big chunk of their life, like you said.
Yeah.
And if they're going to live, that's the thing, isn't it? If they're going to live in that house together, but separate living quarters, surely it's worth trying to make it work. Because if you're going to, I'm not quite sure how I deal with that.
For me, I don't know. I'm moving to the kids. I think it's going to be rather bizarre when you're living in a home that's that big that you've got two separate living spaces, and it's like, how are you going to determine who stays with who, you know, in which part of the day? And what if mummy decides that she wants to bring around her new boyfriend. And new boyfriend's now living in the separate living quarters, but dad's just 10 minutes down the hall. I just find it rather bizarre, and I just think even though it's unconventional, and many people will agree, well, at least they're living under the same roof, and I just think it will give children a really warped sense of relationships and boundaries. I don't know, that's just my take on it.
I think they think it's a good idea, but it's not. It's really not a good idea, and if they think is going to benefit the kids, it's not. It's only going to traumatise the kids.
Kids called Apple, traumatised already. She's well equipped on being traumatised.
No, I really don't. So it's like, okay, today, right, I'm going to be at mummy's at 3:00, and then whoop, moves.
But will it be like that? Because, I mean, probably they just got to let the maid or the housekeeper know what they're doing, because mum and daddy might be off. But there's a few. One of the Rolling Stones lived next door to his wife. I can't remember which one, but they lived together. Jerry Hall and Mick Jagger. They had adjoining houses and a doorway for the children, even though they were separate. And there's another director and his wife. They do the same. They've never. Helena Christensen, is it?
I think so, yeah.
Helen Bonham Carter.
That's it, sorry.
And her husband live next to each other, but don't live together.
Right.
I mean, but they are married. That's even another weird one.
Well, that's really bizarre. Do you know what I think? Before we move on to the next news piece, I have to get it out. I think it's really all about the money. They're both mega mega money makers, and once it hits divorce court, and we have to you have to split all the assets down the middle. I can see the camerawomen and the people in the studio like, oh, she went there, she said it. Yes, I am going to say, let's be honest, I mean, Coldplay earn millions and millions. I mean, they have I think Chris Martin, he actually produced the album, the latest one for Boyzone, I think.
Wow.
Boyzone, what's the one that Gary Barlow was in?
Take That.
That's it. I always get them confused. Yeah, Take That. He helped produce one of the albums that they did, and I mean, she did Iron Man 3, and that grossed in millions. So I'm just thinking they were both looking at their bank accounts and thinking, let's see how we can do this amicably without touching each other's money. But it is what it is, and I hope that they sort out some sort of proper arrangement and care for the kids. Otherwise, those children are going to be traumatized. That's my opinion on it. But yes,
makeup. So the next news is bitter Facebook vengeance of a woman scorned.
Oh dear.
Tycoon sues ex-wife for astonishing online attack that cost him his new lover. Businessman Ronald Stoker is not the first man to trade his wife in for a younger model. But the multimillionaire's ex-wife, the mother of his 13-year-old son, opted for a decidedly 21st century revenge. Instead of giving away the 63-year-old property developer's favourite claret or chopping up his suits, Nicholas Stoker took the social media website Facebook to provide her rival with a devastating critique of him.
Whoops.
After finding Deborah Bling's online page, the 46-year-old equestrian posted a series of damning messages visible to all Miss Bling's Facebook friends, in which she said her ex-husband had tried to strangle her and was a love cheat.
Oh dear.
I hear you have been together. This is what she wrote. I hear you have been together 2 years, she wrote. If so, you might like to ask him who he was in bed with the last time he was arrested. Wouldn't bring it up. Last time I accused him of cheating, he spent a night in the cells, tried to strangle me. Police don't take too kindly to finding your wife with your handprints round her neck. This is what she said.
Oh dear.
Mr. Stoker is also seeking aggravated damages due to the gratuitous nature of communication with Deborah Bling. The posts were apparently widely read, causing Mr. Stoker's embarrassment and stress.
Oh dear, I mean, ladies, I've said my two piece on Gwyneth and Chris, but I mean, first of all, would you do that? Would you, if you had a bad breakup or if you had a relationship that had gone rather sour, would you air your dirty laundry on Facebook?
Thing is, whether the strangling thing, it's obviously bitter, isn't it? I'd see that if that guy really did strangle her and did all them horrible things, then that woman's done that woman a favour.
Yeah.
It's not a discreet message saying, look, this is what he did to me in the past, I just want to send you a warning. She's actually kind of tried to humiliate everyone involved, but why would you want to be with a man like that? I think she needs to take herself off and get rid of the bitterness, because one, she's full of nasty anger, and it's quite rightly, being cheated on and losing, relationships horrible, but she's losing someone that was obviously quite violent to her and didn't treat her very nice. So I think that she needs to really go and have a word with herself.
Yeah, for sure, I definitely agree.
I mean, she is very angry. Very, very angry, but the Deborah lady should, I mean, that strangling part, I mean, I'd be like, what? If I was on the side of the new lady that he was dating. I mean, strangling, if he strangled her, what is he going to do to me when it gets nasty, or if I do something? So it's something that she should look at. But the lady, the ex-wife, has taken it a little bit too far to expose it like that on social. I think that's a bit...
Do you think it was too much? I mean, one thing I wanted to say is, I think she was thinking more on the grounds of the relationship, but that is total humiliation, because, Facebook is accessible to the public. So I don't know what kind of job he had, if he had a high-ranking job, but I'm sure that must have really had... So he's a tycoon, so he's earning a substantial amount of money.
Yeah, big business and stuff like that. Well, we're all responsible for our behaviour. If that man's doing what he's doing, then he, at some point in his life, he's going to have to, you know, realise his behaviour. And if he's embarrassed by it, he's got to look at himself, because he's embarrassed by the truth. If you don't like the truth of your behaviour, change.
Yeah.
Basically, she's only revealed the truth.
Yes.
So that's his own fault. She needs to look at her emotions and look at where she's putting her emotions, because you can only upset yourself.
Yeah.
You know, how many times do people do stuff and you go, oh, and you just let it go and you're like, oh, they're a bit of an idiot, but you don't let it bother you. But there's other times when someone does something and it really
but then do you feel the only way to release is by putting it on Instagram, on Facebook, on Bebo, on Twitter, and
it's there forever,
and the likes?
isn't it, though?
Yeah, and this is the problem. And what if
Well,
what
if
they
it's a
decide to put some
tycoon,
makeup?
yeah. Well, for that, isn't it? Well, you're going down. You're going down. Do you think if he was an ordinary man, she would bother? Oh, please. He's a tycoon. He's got money. Let me bring him down.
And that's what she was thinking.
That's what he was.
But
that's what she was thinking.
I think as well, we also have to be careful, because if, you know, well, I should say we, because we're not involved, but she should be careful, because if they have kids, I mean, one thing I'm a strong believer is that if you've got kids involved, no matter how horrible that person is, you don't want to slam them in front of the kids. Especially when it's public, because those kids have to deal with that
the child,
when they go
have
to
a
school.
13-year-old son.
And do you understand? And then what kind of, even if he's not, you know, the best dad in the world, or actually, no, we can't speak on that. If he's not the best husband in the world, he might be the best dad, and that could sever the relationship that he might have with.
Well, because also, you know, there's an instant there that's been revealed that could be really damaging to that child. You know, that can lead to that child being picked on in school, or there's repercussions on many levels of that story. Just because she wanted to get her own back because she felt bad, it's different if she wanted to warn that lady on a, you know, on a sisterhood kind of vibe, which kind of thing. Well, I mean, if that lady knew that he had a husband, he had a wife anyway, I mean, she's gone into dangerous ground. But I don't know, I don't think
when
all
you
that
have
public
children,
stuff
you have
on
to
Facebook's
control your
good.
anger. That's what I think. I know the person may have hurt you in the worst way ever, but you have to also consider that there's children involved and it must be controlled.
It definitely does need to be controlled. And we have to go to a break right now, but we'll be back with some more hot news. We've had a great show here today. We're just going through all the news through the past month, and we've had some great discussions here. But Sandra, this news piece that you was trying to tell us about during the break, tell us, because it's so
This one is about plastic surgery.
Once again, what about it?
Plastic surgery in South Korea is now so good that people traveling home afterwards need certificates to prove who they are.
Oh my goodness.
When people go under the knife for plastic surgery, they hope to come out of the operation looking a lot different and a lot better. They usually do not. However, anticipate looking so different that they are unrecognizable.
Wow.
However, some of the South Korea's plastic surgeons are so talented that they're leaving their patients with an unexpected problem, it has been claimed. Some hospitals in South Korea are offering plastic surgery certificates
Brilliant.
to help overseas patients through passport control on their way home. These patients are often seen to have bigger eyes, higher noses. They often also have slimmer chin than on their passport photos. South Korea is now the plastic surgery capital of the world.
Oh my goodness.
Figures show.
Did you see the other thing on the internet? And it was a man, and they were from somewhere in Asia. His wife was beautiful, married her, had children, blessed these poor kids, but they weren't lookers, bless them, they were quite odd. They were quite odd, and that's really mean to say, but they were. And he found out that she'd had so much plastic surgery, and he was suing her.
Goodness, he actually sued his wife
for giving him ugly children.
Oh no, that's terrible. I can't believe. But you know what? On this whole thing of plastic surgery, when is it too much? Many people should argue, look, you just should be happy with the way you're made. There's nothing wrong with a little bit of enhancement here and there with makeup or dyeing your hair a different color or, you know, wearing Spanx even, but going under the knife to reconstruct how you was originally made. Do you think that's a big problem?
I think that's a very big problem. I mean, everyone's trying to look perfect. Well, I say perfect, but it's not really perfect. I think it's too much. It's beyond normal. For me, I think you should have plastic surgery if you were involved in an accident and something happened, etc. Yes, because you don't want to be sued after, like this for giving terrible all these children. So you know what I mean. So I think that you need to know why you're having the surgery. Think, why am I having plastic surgery? Why? If you know the reasons aren't good enough, don't. Just do the healthy diet. Just put on the makeup. Do something in life, but just don't go there. For me, no.
Yeah,
I think it's too much.
Yes, a strange one. I'm not with it. I'm not a. I don't know, maybe ask me in 20 years when I want it all lifted. I don't know, you can see when people have had a lot of surgery and I don't think that's a nice look at all. No. The odd tweak here and there, each to their own, I'm not going to judge them, but when people have had a lot, it doesn't look right.
But when is a lot too much? When is too much too much?
Well, there's a lady, I don't know if you know the lady that had surgery to, it was surgery to look like a cat, I think.
Oh yeah, the cat lady.
Yeah, the cat lady
woman,
to look good for her husband or something. I don't know if she wanted to win him back or whatever. I mean, that is too much. And then there's another case of the lady that used oil, I think.
Oh,
injected herself with oil.
Oh goodness!
To do like a filler thing.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness!
And her face
it's just deformed. I saw that. They can't.
Totally deformed.
Yeah.
I think when it gets to the point where you're not happy with the way you look, and even worse still, when you want to look like someone else, then you know it's beyond your normal problem. I don't like this and I don't want like that. I think it's more psychological, because when you get to the point where you want to look like someone else, you know that there's something horribly wrong.
I agree. Again, it's all the stuff on the outside. We need to work on the inside first.
That's it. I definitely agree. Ladies, we've had a great time on the show. I really, really enjoyed going through this month's news. It's been interesting, and hearing your opinions as well. It's been rather fun. I really enjoyed it. It was wonderful. But we're going to end the show now, but we're not completely gone just yet. We're going to have a wonderful performance from Yassi V, who's going to be singing The Fire Within. And if you want more information about Yassi, you can go to our website. Take care. Bye-bye.
Some people have a target and they're ready to hit, but I won't be their victim if they go through with it. They think that I'm defenseless, standing right by their aim, but they don't know that I'm ahead in their game. There are cheaters, there are liars, there are people starting fires just to watch me burn. So I'll take the fire and I'll put it in me. They might be stronger on the outside, but I'm stronger within, and they can't burn my bridges if I've built them of steel. So I'll take the fire and I'll put it in, I'll put it in me. The world we live in will never rid of this hate. Some people think that kindness is a mistake.